Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rocket MV Virtual University. This is the second webinar related to YouTube audio logging. I will introduce some new features for YouTube audio logging. Please note the content in this presentation is provided for informational purpose only. My name is Cheng Jiang. I'm a software engineer and work in the Rocket Dalian office. I'm very excited to have this chance to show you the YouTube audio logging. I hope to get your feedback and answer your questions through this demonstration. In order to facilitate our customer to practice the examples in the demonstration, we provide a public XDemo account through GitHub. Some basic programs used in the demonstration, you can find them in the XDemo account. The first link is about XDemo account. We will demonstrate 3 new features in this session. The first feature, Advanced Audit Group Definition. You can practice on Windows and Linux for Unidate. The second feature, Sequential Log Date Compression. You can practice on Windows and Linux for Unidate and Universe. The last feature, Change Date Capture. You can practice on Windows and Linux for Universe. Next, I will show you how to download the XDemo from the Monte Value University GitHub. Click the provided link and access our GitHub page. You will see a list of repositories. For Unidate and Universe, we provide its 2 accounts, which used in Windows and Linux. For example, you want to download the XDemo and have practice on Windows for Universe. Click the Universe Windows repository. In this repository, you will see a list of folders and files. This is where all the project files are located. Enter the Docs folder. You will see some files which store the test steps. For example, about Audit Date Change feature. Open the Date Change file. You will get test steps in the file. Okay, go back to the previous page. At the right-hand corner of the page, and click on the green Clone or Download button. You have 2 ways to download the XDemo. Download it as a zip file, or use git command to clone the repository. Either is fine. If you want to use git clone, you need to have git installed on your machine. Next, I will use git command clone the repository. Click the copy button. Once you have the copy link, go to your command line or terminal. Navigate the directory where you want to copy of the repository to leave, and run this command, renamed XDemo. After the download is complete, you will get an XDemo account and basic programs for the demo. For this demo, let's talk about the new audio logging feature, Audit Group Definition. Why do we need Audit Group Definition? When our MV users want to create a list of auditing objects, like files, users, and programs, you can put these objects that need to abide by the same policy into a single group. The advantage of Audit Group Definition is not only simplify the configuration and maintenance of audit policies, but also to allow you to provide a more detailed audit trail surrounding an event. Now, I will introduce this new feature. We support a new syntax to define a policy group starting with the macro keyword. The right side of the assignment can be a group of files or users. Regarding the new syntax, it's supporting group definitions for file, user, program, executable, command set, and process policies. Why do we need to support wildcard functionality for files and programs? For example, in the previous file policy, we only supported an asterisk to indicate our files in a directory. Now, we can use a wildcard to match any characters for a particular file name. This new wildcard functionality simplifies your audit configuration and makes it much more usable. It's worth noting that if you have a file name that already includes an asterisk in the name, and you want to use a wildcard to match it, you must use double asterisk to escape. Now, I'm going to provide some examples of the new syntax. Example 1 and 2 are two different forms of the file group definitions. Use the keyword macro to define group name and assign files to it. When you need to assign multiple files, use commas to separate the files. Finally, you must assign the defined group to the event policy. Regarding the file path, you can add a count prefix to the group, or it can be equipped for each file. In the file group, we can see we use a wildcard policy to match the file name. Example 3 uses the program group definition, and example 4 uses the user group definition. A macro is still used to define the group name, and then it assigns a group of programs or users to it. Finally, don't forget to assign the group to the event policy. Let's compare the original syntax definition with the new syntax definition in the audit configuration file. When you use the original method to define the file policy, you need to add the files you want to track one by one, and each file must have a count prefix. If you have hundreds of files to track, then you must copy 100 lines of definition. This is not only complicated, but also reduces the performance of audit logging. Now, by using a new syntax definition and wildcard policy, we can complete the same definition just in few lines. We can see the file policy section on the right. We put the file names that have nothing in common into a group. We use a wildcard to match the files with a serial number of 1 to 100. Finally, we assign the file group to the event policy. Okay, now that we have finished the introduction, I will show you the new syntax in a demo.
In this demo, file group, program group, and command set group will be covered. The first is file group, and let's look at the related basic programs. The first basic program is AutoCreateFile. It will create 6 data files named member at 1 through at 3, and the employer at 1 through at 3, respectively. The second basic program is AutoBasicWrite. It will write different records ID to the 6 data files, member at 1 through at 3, and the employer at 1 through at 3. Next, let's start to configure the audit file. First, turn on the account policy, and also the database write event. Now, I'm going to show you 3 scenarios that relate to the file group definition uses. In the first case, it defines a group called myfiles and insert member at 1 through at 3 and employer at 1 into it. After that, please remember to assign file group to an event policy. Okay, to make sure the configuration has taken effect, let's use Audit config display to verify. Locate the date basic write event, and you can see 4 files we specified are in the file policy. Scroll down, and you will see those files are displayed in the file table section as well. Now, hash file type is used for the audit log file. To avoid any confusion caused by old entries, let's clear the audit file before executing the programs. Okay, all done. Now, let's execute our basic programs. First, run basic program out create file to create 6 dynamic hash files. Okay, we can see that 6 files have been created. The first 4 files are the files we want to track. Next, run the basic program out basic write to insert different records IDs into the 6 files. We can see values test1 through test3 are written to different files. Let's check if the first 4 files have been recorded in the audit log file. Query the audit file. And we can see member at 1, member at 2, member at 3, employer at 1 are recorded, which meet our expectation. Okay, now let's modify the configuration file a little bit. This time, we will use the wildcard policy. In the second case, let's track all files that start with member and employer. Under this test account, only those 6 files I created met the condition. So we expect to see all 6 files are logged. Again, use the Audit config display to check if changes work. We can see the file wildcard policy has taken effect. Clear the audit log. And run the same programs. And then query audit log file. And we can see member at 1, member at 2, member at 3. And the employer at 1, employer at 2, employer at 3 are all tracked, which is correct. Now, let's move on to the second scenario, in which we want to track changes on a file which name is member*add. Let's go back to the configuration file. In order to escape the asterisk in the file name, we need to put an extra asterisk, so you can see here there are 2 of them. Let's clear the audit log file. Create the file name member*add manually and insert a record into it. Query the audit log file. And we can see an entry for file member*add. Okay, we just went through the 3 scenarios for file group policy. Now, let's look at another new syntax program group definition. Suppose there is a scenario that a user wants to focus on event database write that happens on the work file that only relates to a specific group of programs. Then the macro keyword can satisfy his needs by assigning program names to it, and remember to assign the program group to the event policy. After the configuration, also use the oddman config display to check the program policy. We can see that the program policy has taken effect. Next, clear the audit log. And check the content of basic program. Open the main program, test prog. In the main program, it has 2 basic write operations. And it also invokes 2 catalog subroutines with same logic. Open one of the subroutines. It has a write operation. So according to our audit configuration, 4 records will be tracked. Let's run the main program test prog and see if the results meet our expectations. Query the audit file. We can see that programs test prog, test sharp, and test sharp 1 are recorded. We can also define groups for user, process, executable, and command set policy. You can see the examples of them. Here, let's pick command set policy and see how it works. This policy can be used to restrict audit log actions when a syscommand or a sysutility event is triggered. For the syscommand event here, let's try command copy ed and basic only. Again, assign the command set group to the event. We need to add syscommand event. Clear the audit log and execute some commands like copy, basic, and run command. Okay, only query the audit records related to syscommand event. And we can see only copy and basic command are checked. And run command is ignored because we didn't specify it. Okay, that's it for group definition.